invited 5 of our friendly NTU students here to share about your experiences and also answer your burning questions. You might have also noticed that behind me we have our special guest today, Leon, who will be also joining us for the breakout session. Alright, so we have gathered your questions and categorized them into different segments, such as hall life, CCAs, internships, and so on. If you have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to drop it in the live chat function, and we'll try our best to answer them for you. If your questions are not answered during the session, don't worry, because we will get back to you through our NTU SU Facebook page or through the live chat function. Right. So before we dive into the main part of our discussion, let's have a round of introduction from our panelists. Shall we start with Minso?
Hi everyone, I'm Minso, currently studying in Year 2 Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering.
Hi everybody, I'm Jordan, a Year 2 business student specializing in business analytics.
Hi, I'm Yun Xuan. I'm currently Year 4 studying a double major of Biological Sciences and Psychology.
Hi, my name is Fikri. I'm currently in Year 3 and studying in Education.
Hi, my name is Shivangi, and I'm a Year 2 Data Science and Artificial Intelligence student.
Alright, so let's start out with the very simple and yet important questions that I think all prospective students might have. So what did you choose NTU? What made you decide to come to NTU out of all the other options that you have? Maybe we can get Jordan to share first.
Okay, so for myself, I knew I wanted to study business in university, and I think NTU has set itself apart by being a 3 years direct honors degree program at Nanyang Business School NBS. And I think the culture and demographic of students here are also more down to earth and from more humble backgrounds, which I think fit me better.
Yeah, so apart from Jordan, I actually wanted to study engineering for my undergraduate degree. So I have asked my seniors for advice and from like different universities, and have actually found out that NTU has a very strong foundation in like undergraduate engineering courses. So they have like these like lab sessions which are very like applicable in real life situations. So other than that, I'm also from the St. Young Scholars Program. So all these like research undergraduate attachments are actually one of the pull factors as well. Yeah.
As for me, I wanted to do engineering as well. So I wanted to come to a university that focused mainly on like research. Apart from that, I also know that NTU is like internationally recognized for new technologies such as AI, which is what I'm majoring in. Other than that, as an international student, I wanted to experience something different from where I actually come from. So I wanted a new environment, and that's why I chose NTU Singapore.
For me, at that time when I applied, NTU was the only school that offered both biological sciences and psychology. That's why I applied. And also because it's a double major, so it really opens my future prospects, I feel. Because compared to like one major, having two majors means that I can dabble in both either biological sciences or psychology in terms of my jobs and my internships. And another thing is the very strong hall culture. So NTU is known for its many halls and its culture. And also the hall is like cheaper than other schools.
Okay, as for myself, I developed my passion for teaching a few years ago. NTU has an autonomous institute called National Institute of Education, also known as NIE, and it offers various diploma and degree programs for education. So hence, once I get to know that, I started applying for NTU and started to pursue my passion for teaching.
I see. It's very nice to hear from all of you. I really hope that this helps you better understand the programs and opportunities that we have here in NTU. There's really a myriad of opportunities for everyone, and hopefully we'll be able to see some of you around campus soon. So let's move on to our next exciting topic, which is about our most memorable experiences here in NTU. I believe there are always ups and downs in uni, but I myself had a wonderful experiences which have molded me into a better individual. Maybe shall we get Minso to share first?
Alright, I think that's a very good question. So like for the past 2 years in NTU, there are definitely many experiences that I have encountered, and I guess some of them will be like the impromptu sessions that I have with my friends, or like just going out, like exploring around NTU at 3 AM at night when there's like nobody around, or basically just like having suppers when like you're like stressed from work, or like you just want to take a breather from like studies. So all these kind of like experiences like just shape my NTU experience in general.
Mine is like everything about hall. Like but because like I stayed in hall for 4 years, right? This is my 4th year. So if I have to pick, right, it's definitely during inter-hall games and inter-hall recreational games period during winter. For those of you who don't know, inter-hall games / rec games is a competition where halls play against each other in terms of sports and recreational games. So personally, I played ultimate frisbee, hockey, basketball, and I also played Boggle and Scrabble. I remember in the recent winter, right, my seniors, because I'm year 4, so my seniors are older. So my seniors came back and gave donuts to us during our competition. So yeah, that was very nice. Another thing is during orientation. So orientation, I experienced both physical and online orientation as a freshman and as a senior. And I feel like even though it's very different, right, what stays the same is the seniors and their enthusiasm. Yeah, so that was very nice, especially knowing that there's this like bunch of seniors there that will really help you assimilate yourself into the school. Yeah.
So good that you mentioned orientation. I think for myself, my most memorable experiences were all in orientation. Specifically Union Orientation or UOC. Shout out to NTU UOC at Instagram. And yeah, I think personally I experienced both 2 years of virtual orientation. Firstly as a freshie and secondly as my second year as a programmer. And those experiences I think were really great, and I met really like good friends and seniors throughout the whole orientation. And also, the orientation committee throughout the entire year leading up to orientation, while the orientation was virtual, we still managed to hold some physical trial activities with the school support. So I think that was really great as well, yeah.
Unlike Jordan and Yunxian, I missed out on orientation during freshman year because of COVID-19. So majority of the ways I met my friends are actually pretty funny and interesting. So because of that, I have many memorable experiences with them, either when it's like going out during weekends or like midterms to explore Singapore. And other than that, like Minso said, 7-Eleven, late night cravings at 3 a.m., they're really fun and interesting, so yeah.
For myself, I think it's quite similar to you, Shivangi. Most of my memorable experiences involves my friends, my classmates, especially the time I spend with them in classes. So for my program, we have most of the modules are sports modules, and I'm a sports person myself, and I love sports, all kinds of sports. So for my module, for my program, we usually play sports every single day. So yeah, the fact that I'm able to play with my friends, my classmates, these sports every single day, it feels amazing for me.
Thank you guys for sharing. So those are fascinating examples. Something that stood out to me during our discussion was that those memorable experiences are oftentimes that we spend with our NTU friends. But I remember that it was not very easy for many of us to form new social circles when we first entered uni. So maybe, and the environments between pre-uni and uni are actually quite different, right? So maybe we can discuss what were the differences and similarities that you noticed when transitioning from pre-uni to uni. Maybe we can get Shivangi to share first.
Yeah, so I'm an international student from Kenya. So coming from there, when I came to Singapore, I had quite a cultural shock because it's pretty different. But everyone here was like really nice and like helpful, so I managed to like fit right in.
Yeah, I mean, I had a cultural shock because I came from a relatively unconventional route. I came from School of the Arts. But then the seniors really helped me like get used to everything here. So how long did you take to like get used to the uni life?
If I'm being like completely honest, it took me a while because I heard new terms like LAMs and tutorials and I had no idea what they meant. But like everyone here helped me, as I said before, and the professors were willing to answer my questions, so I got a grip of it in like 2 weeks. Other than that, I came from like a Cambridge background, so I never knew the GPA system, so that took me a while to like get a idea of how to use it, but it all worked out at the end. Other than that, coming from high school, I have so much more freedom and opportunities to take here. So like I have the opportunities to try new courses and electives that are outside my major, which allowed me to like get more skills and everything. And yeah, it really taught me about time management because in like high school, everything was pretty much fixed for me and I had to follow like a schedule, but here I have to make it myself and I have to stick to it. So yeah, yes.
Yeah, for me, because like I mentioned before, I came from School of the Arts. So what I did was quite different. Actually, back in SOTA, I did chemistry instead of biological sciences. So when I came here, I was very shocked at the depth that it had. Because like, firstly, I never do bio before. Secondly, I come here and then I need to like do so much more than like what people do in JC. Yeah, so that was very shocking for me. But I think how I got used to it was keeping up with my work. Because I don't think you can study like 13 weeks worth of work in like 1 or 2 weeks on top of having 5 other modules. I think that's just not possible. So time management is very important, keeping up with your work, and also reaching out to your profs and asking your friends for help also is very important in uni lah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think good that Inshan mentioned time management, right? Time management is, I think, very important in uni lah. So for myself, I personally try and keep to the weekly assignments and the weekly schedule, because the profs won't chase you for it, but you yourself have the enough discipline to go and keep up with it lah. And also handing out assignments on time. Profs sometimes also don't chase you for the assignments which are graded. Yeah, so really have to have good time management. And then also, I think I found myself learning how to plan my time a bit better. And through that, I think I got a lot more free time. Also, because the business schedule is also a bit more free, then I got a bit more free time to go and play my sports and also do other activities that I wanted to do. Yeah, and I think also on the note of transition into uni, right? I didn't find myself needing to think about what I needed to wear from Monday to Friday, be it from NS or from JC, right? Because we all got uniforms during then. But now in uni, we have to think. At least I found that I had to think about what I wanted to wear from Monday to Friday lah. Yeah, so that's a small also.
Yeah, okay, so similar to Jordan, I also came from a JC background, and like I would have to agree with everyone that time management is actually very important in the university life. So when I came to NTU, then I took like some of my first modules. It actually came to a shock because it was very like in depth as compared to like JC like courses. So I feel like generally university can seem fast-paced and there's like more projects and assignments along the way. But I feel like with like time management, you can really get used to it. And I truly believe that university experience is really not just about like purely studying, but more of like just getting more exposures outside your curriculum and things like that. So like for example, I participated in like hackathons with my friends, and that was like a really eye-opening experience for me.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I mean, so I think studying in university can be quite intense due to its fast pace. Like what you mentioned, I think extra efforts need to be put in. For example, you have to ask questions to clear your doubts. I think from what I experienced when I was in Republic Poly last time, as compared to now, the amount of questions I've asked this time is way more than what I've been experiencing in RP. Yeah, so I understand that now time management is very crucial because assignments can be accumulating. So back then when I was in Republic Polytechnic, we have this thing called problem-based learning, where students are given tasks to solve real-life industry problems. So in NTU NIE over here, it's quite rather similar, where you have to actually apply what you learn in class into a real-life setting.
I see. So I think it's very normal for us to take some time to integrate into a new environment. But don't worry too much. We can always rely on our friends, professors and staff, who I believe will be more than willing to help out. Right, so I think another very special aspect of uni life is our hall culture. I stay in hall, and I've actually seen the vast majority of my friends stay in hall too. So can I just see who's staying in hall here? All right, so Yushan, could you share a little bit more about your hall experience?
For me, I've stayed in hall for 4 years. This is my 4th year. I stay in hall 14. You can follow at NTU hall 14. 14 as in the numerical 14. Yes.
Yes.
So I did a lot of hall activities when I stayed these 4 years. Because in hall there's 10 recreational games and 21 sports. On top of that, there are other activities like jam bands and cheer and all that stuff. So I think you never get like bored when you stay in hall. That's one thing. For me, I gained many new friends from hall. Actually, most of my friends are from hall, yeah. And up to now, I'm still friends with them, even though many of them have graduated. Because as I mentioned, I'm year 4, so it's kind of old, yeah. So recently I even met, because when I was year 1, I was in hall council, I was a social secretary. Recently I met my president and vice president back then, and they were year 4. So like, it has been 3 years and I'm still like friends with them, so that's very nice to know. And another thing is that I really got to dabble in a lot of things. So like ultimate frisbee was something that I've never played before, on top of like playing hockey and like female basketball. And also I play recreational games, as I mentioned just now, like Scrabble and Boggle. So those are things that I would never have done if it wasn't for hall, yeah.
Yeah, so just to add on to Yunshan, I think hall sports is something that I actually participated in year 1. So like what you said, ultimate frisbee was one of the sports that I actually like participated in hall sports, as well as volleyball. So I don't come from a sports background, but all these kind of things, like they accept new players and new people who don't have any experience. So that's something that it has a very welcoming atmosphere. So it was something that I actually look forward to every week when I go for like training sessions and things like that. So Other than that, I feel like it's very convenient and easy for you to gather friends for supper, impromptu supper. So like one of the favorite places that I go to is the Ready Bihun, which is like sold internally in NTU.
Yeah, I think supper is also a very good bonding activity for hall residents, right? So I myself I come from Hall 2, so right outside my doorstep I have a giant supermarket and a 7-Eleven at Hall 2, and that's the usual go-to supper spot for Hall 2 residents lah. And also Hall 2 has a very convenient location. It's located like somewhere in the center of NTU. I can walk to North Spine and South Spine like within 10 minutes. Yeah, so and I think the Hall 2 culture is also very strong, and it has a very like kampong-like spirit lah. So all the residents are all very helpful, and we all kind of know each other here and there. Yeah, so there's this one incident I remember where me and my roomie were making drinks in the room, and then we realized we ran out of sugar. So then we just asked around, and then there was this one senior who was so nice, went up to her room to just get some extra sugar packets and then passed it to us. Yeah.
Actually, Jordan, I had a similar experience, except mine wasn't sugar. I went for a run and I fell and I injured myself. So when I reached back hall, I went and I texted on the orientation group if anyone had like antibacterial wipes or like liquid. Everyone was like super concerned and really nice, and I got my wipes and now I'm fine. But yeah, hall is like very important to me because like I have so many friends. I've made so many friends through that. Yeah, because I feel like it's important to have friends in hall because you have people to study with and like go on supper with and meals with, and yeah. Other than that, hall has given me the opportunity to participate in like CCAs. So as we can see, Frisbee is like a pretty popular sport here. So I also participate in Frisbee like currently, and they allow for many newcomers. Like even if you have like zero experience, it's like still really fun. Yeah, so that's given me a lot of pleasure after coming back from school. Yeah, and other than that, living away from home, it's allowed me to like be more independent and like manage my stuff well because I have to like fit everything into my day well. Yeah.
I guess that those are going to be some of your greatest moments in your uni life. So for Fikri, we know that you don't stay in hall. Maybe you could share with us about how you can make traveling to and from NTU easier, and what has NTU done to help students who don't stay in hall?
So for me, basically, the reason why I didn't stay in the hall because I stay quite nearby. Although I did consider at one point of time that I want to apply. I mean, from your sharings, I can see that it's quite convenient and it's quite fun, having supper with your friends, playing sports and everything. Yeah, but NTU do provide alternatives for students to enter and exit school. They have campus riders to bring students from school to Pioneer MRT station. They also have SBS buses within the NTU vicinity. They have 199 and 179 to bring Pioneer MRT as well, and also Jurong Point. Yeah, so I make do of this to actually enter in and out of school. Yeah.
I see. And I've also heard that there's a shuttle bus system. Do you find it helpful as well?
Yeah, there are shuttle buses. In fact, NTU students can actually board these shuttle buses at allocated MRT stations all around Singapore. I believe there's one in Pasir Ris and Tampines. So those staying in the east, fret not. You can board these buses and take naps in the buses all the way to school. Yeah. So, however, I do not know exactly the timings for these buses, but you can check it out in the NTU website.
Yeah, I think you can find out more information about our shuttle bus system in the NTU website. So I believe that, I think from what Fikri has shared, from what I know, that NTU really provides many alternative transportation to help students who don't stay in hall. Alright, so the next segment of our discussion will be another exciting topic that's related to hall. So we'll be discussing the CCAs that we have in NTU. Alright, so there's really such a wide variety of CCAs we have here. I think there are close to 200 of them. Yeah, and then maybe we can get Jordan to share a little bit more about your CCA experience.
So for myself personally, I have 3 CCAs. The first CCA is UOC, like I mentioned just now. So I'm the chairperson for Union Orientation Committee, or UOC. It's just one of the many committees that is under Student Union, and essentially we kind of like organize the orientation for Student Union lah. Yeah, and shout out to NTU UOC again. The sign up link will open in July, most likely on the NTU website, and also you'll be publicized through our Instagram page at NTU UOC. Yes, and then the second CCA that I have is I'm the Vice President for Accountancy and Business Club, or ABC, and essentially we organize events and initiatives for the entire Nanyang Business School, or MBS population lah. Specific to my role, I do corporate liaison, so I handle sponsorships with my team and then we manage relationships with the sponsors for our events and initiatives lah. Yeah, and lastly, I'm also a member at the NTU Sports Shooting Club, and I shoot the 10-meter air pistol. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still trying to absorb the fact that you have 3 CCAs, Jordan. Oh, that's amazing. I'm sure there are a lot of commitments for that. Yeah, personally for me, I'm a current president for NTU Silat team. Our trainings are Tuesday and Thursday, so do check us out on our Instagram, NTU Silat. Also, yeah. As the president, also I have my own commitments in terms of taking care of the team. Any other ways? We do have the opportunity as a president for me, have the opportunity to engage with other NTU people in terms of organizing collaborations and events. So it's actually nice for me to expand my circle of friends wider, not only within NTU itself, but also to other parts of NTU. Yeah, and it's also nice to bring your minds and thoughts off school at a certain point of time, to release stress, especially the new friends that I've made in Silat team. Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with Fikri in terms of like when you really need to take the time off like your academic work. So I'm currently the president of the SEB Club, or the Students Chemical and Biomedical Engineering Club, and I was also the business manager in year 1. So this may sound like lots of responsibilities, but I feel like this is something that I enjoy. This is something that I enjoy doing. So because like I like meeting like new friends, just planning for events, and really just like going down and like just executing things lah. So yeah, other than that, currently I'm the president also. So like I get to meet people outside my faculty. So this is something that I look forward to because I like meeting up and like just like having fun with like all these kind of like new people as well. So other than that, I also have joined WSC, which is the Welfare Service Club. So I go on like regular volunteering basis. And other than that, I also like have hall sports. So where I just like participate like in a casual manner. Yeah.
For me, like I'm currently the president of Hall 14. Another shameless plug, follow NTU Hall 14. So in year 1, I was a social secretary in Hall Council. So I ran Hall Council for 3 years in total. I was social secretary in year 1. Then in year 2, I was a special projects officer. In year 3, I did other things. So I did like night cycling publicity. I did like a president of video production. And then like now I'm now a president of my hall. So throughout all these 4 years, right, I got to meet a lot of people outside my orientation group. So because actually a lot of your friends you make from your orientation group, because that's the first place where the first people that you meet when you step into university. But then I remember there was once in year 1 I was a social secretary. Then due to the nature of my job, I had to organize events, and because I have to organize events, I had my own subcommittee members, and then there were year 4s in my subcommittee. And as a year 1, I was very intimidated to like talk to them because they were year 4s, right? They were like like the guys were like much older than me. Not saying you guys are old or anything, but yeah. So I remember I had to ask them to like do things for me, like help me like take stuff and like help me put up things. And I realized that actually there's no barrier in terms of seniors and juniors in uni lah. They very willingly helped me, which is very nice. Like I mentioned just now, I'm still friends with a lot of them. Yeah. So another thing is that last year I was chief editor of my freshman orientation program in my school, School of Biological Sciences. So I think it goes to show that doesn't mean you commit yourself to one thing means that you cannot do other things. Yeah, because I did it lah.
So I think as we can see from everyone, it's very important to maintain a good work-life balance. So that's why I also wanted to take the opportunity and like try out new things. So I'm currently in NTU Student Union Student Integration Committee as the program officer. And then other than that, I'm in the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers Club as the logistics director. So when I was a freshman, I missed out during the welcome week, which is the opening when you can apply for clubs. So I didn't sign up for the clubs that I wanted to, but I reached out to the right people and they helped me get a spot in my school's club, which is School of Computer Science and Engineering, in the events club as a subcommittee member. Just an overall, I don't regret taking any of these CCAs because it's really improved my skills, like my people skills, and it's allowed me to meet new people and make many more friends. Yeah.
I see. Thank you all for sharing. So it seems that we have some questions from the audience. So the first question that we have is that, is it recommended that we participate in more than one CCA or hall activity? So maybe I'll direct this question to Jordan.
Yeah, so my personal advice is that it's okay for you to participate in more than one CCA, but for hall CCAs and hall sports and hall like rec games, right, I think it's definitely okay. You can participate in a lot of them, and the hall seniors are also going to be very welcoming of you lah. But for NTU specific CCA, so what I'm referring to is like faculty clubs, student union, or IVP level or intervarsity player. IVP stands for intervarsity player. IVP level sports. Then I think you need to gauge their commitment level. Some CCAs have higher commitment, maybe 3 times a week. Some CCAs are maybe OT. You can choose your own training period, that kind of thing. And yeah, so gauge your own commitment level and then your own degree. How much work is needed for your own degree. I think I'm not saying business don't need to do anything, but it's definitely lesser compared to like someone who has a double degree or someone who has a double major. Yeah, so I would say gauge for yourself, and then seniors might also tell you to only commit to 1 or just 2 max. But again, coming from someone who has 3, then please gauge. You can gauge for yourself, judge for yourself. Don't let anyone else stop you from joining whatever you want to join. Yeah.
I see. I think those are very, very good advice. Thank you, Jordan. And the second question that we have is that, would you recommend people with no prior knowledge or experience to join a CCA? Okay, maybe I'll direct this question to Yunxuan and Fikri.
For hall, the answer is definitely yes. So, because in hall, I've mentioned there's 10 recreational games and 21 sports on top of many other ad hoc that you can join and leadership positions. So, actually, I feel like uni, because uni is a place where you learn new things and you dabble in many, many new things. So, I don't think you should limit yourself to just 1 or 2 in hall. Especially for hall, the intensity of all these sports recs and other stuff depends on the captains and the presidents of all these small clubs. Yeah. So, personally, for me, before I came to uni, right, I never really did any sports. I just did my own stuff in school. But then coming here, I did like 4 sports, 3 recreational games on top of like other leadership positions. So actually, in fact, hall, we encourage you guys to participate in more things because it's all about learning new things. Yeah, I think time management is very important. So you look at your timetable, you gauge whether you can handle it, or you can learn by experience. Yeah, just like learn as you go.
So I think for CCAs it's rather quite similar. I think I am very sure that they will accept any students regardless of their experience. In fact, in my NTU select team, most members do not have any prior experience. Yeah, so like what Inshan has mentioned, it's all about learning new things in NTU. So feel free to join any CCA you're interested in. Yeah.
Right. So thank you all for sharing your CCA experiences. Other than the CCAs that already been shared, NTU really has a lot of other clubs and societies, such as the CAP Management Network. So please feel free to find out more on our NTU website if you are interested. All right, moving on. As we all know, in uni, we need to have a good balance between work and play. And you may or may not be aware that NTU, we actually have included internship as part of our curriculum starting from last year. So I've heard from my seniors how they have greatly benefited from their internship. So maybe I think it's a great opportunity for us to maybe discuss the value of internship in preparing us for future workforce or further study. Maybe we can get Fikri to share about your internship.
Yeah, sure. So NIE provide this opportunity called teaching practicum. So I have one 5-week practicum at the end of first year, and a 10-week practicum at the end of my final year. So basically, practicum student teachers will be assigned to their schools teaching the subjects that they are specialized in. And after that, they will be observed. So for example, if it's a 10-week practicum, right, we will be observed. We will have 8 lesson observations by our teaching mentors and NIE supervisors. So these lesson observations will determine our grades for practicum. Yeah. So for myself, it was quite challenging because you need patience when it comes to teaching. Yeah, but for me, personally, I feel that it's quite fruitful in the end, and it made me become a better teacher today.
Yeah, so the business internship program is a bit different from that of NIE. We have a minimum 10 weeks long internship that we need to clear during the course of our degree, and MBS has really helped out in this aspect because there's this system called In Place. There's online where the employers can put up job descriptions on the system in place, and then students can go up to those job descriptions and then find the internships that they want to look for. Yeah, so I personally feel like I learned quite a bit from my internship, gaining a bit more real world experience, and also meeting other students from NUS and SMU during the internship, and then all learning together under the manager's guidance. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, okay, because I've done 2 internships. I did mine during summer, like Jordan, and then I did mine during the semester. So for my school, I got to choose between final year project and internship, which I chose internship. So for my summer one, the one that I cleared in this recent summer, I did it with the Ministry of Social and Family Development. And then for my semester one, which I cleared in year 4 sem 1 last semester, I did it with National University Polyclinic. So it's under Ng Teng Fong Hospital there. Yeah. How I got the summer ones, so summer one is the ministry one. For government jobs, right, you have to go to the government website. So I think it's career@gov. Y'all can go and Google it if you're interested. And then you have to find the job that fits you. I feel like what's important is that you need to find a job that fits your skill set and what you can do. So it'll give you an edge as to when they're like picking people to join their division. For my semester one, I did it on found it on Career Axis. So on top of InPlace, NTU provides this website called Career Axis to find internships and job scopes and jobs lah. And for me, like I'm also finding jobs there because I'm year 4 and graduating. Yeah. So I think it's good for you to really filter according to what you want, because they have like the filter option there also. And one thing that I feel is very important is your resume. I don't think grades make up a big part of whether you get the internship or not. I feel like it's what's in your resume and how you put yourself out there. So for me, I went to consult my career guidance office, my career counselor, and he went through my resume with me and told me what is good to include, what is good to omit. And that really helped me in pursuing the jobs that I wanted. The internships that I wanted, jobs not yet.
I see. Thank you for all the information. So apart from internships, our school really tries to provide as many opportunities as possible for students to explore the world. For example, through programs like Overseas Entrepreneurship Program. And I'm also very happy to say that despite the current pandemic situation, our exchange program have actually resumed starting from this semester. Right, so for Misio, are you familiar with our school's exchange program?
Yeah, so I have not actually been onto an exchange yet, but I have applied for this semester and I'll be going to the United States next semester actually. Like pretty exciting, yeah. I think like this exchange experience, like given this opportunity, is like one of the main highlights of the whole university experience that NTU provides, and I feel like this is something that you can take on, and like because this is like learning about the different cultures like internationally is something that you may not be able to experience like in a local setting. Yeah, so personally I'm feeling both like excited and nervous at the same time, because like this is like embarking on a new journey. So while the current COVID-19 situation may be improving, the traveling overseas in general is something that's still quite uncertain. So even while it's that, in general, I still feel like quite excited about this whole aspect, because it's something that I will get to experience like in a new setting. Yeah.
I see. So like what Minseo has mentioned, and as we all know, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and it has greatly changed the way of learning for us. But even so, we still need to try our best to adapt to the new normal. So maybe for now, let's discuss how the experiences are like attending school during the COVID period. Maybe for Inshen, could you talk about like the similarities and differences of what you have experienced between pre-COVID and COVID time?
Okay, for me, because I've experienced pre-COVID and COVID, I feel like there are pros and cons. So whether you prefer a fully physical class or fully online class is up to your personal preference. But for me, the difference that I've felt was that actually now after with COVID, right, things were much more, the resources were very efficiently used. So let me give an example of consultations. Last time, professors' consultation was strictly online. I mean, strictly physical. Yeah. But then now that there's like COVID, right, then I feel like the professors, they are a lot more willing to go online with their consultation. So that's very useful for people who stay very far away. Like personally, I stay very far if I don't stay in hall. Yeah, so that's very good. But then one thing that stays the same is the prof's willingness to help, the professor's willingness to help. Because whether it's like before COVID or currently, I feel like the profs know that it's very difficult to get used to the university life and all that. So they are always very willing and they're always there. So you can just always drop them an email or even like ask them after class. Yeah, that's for the academic side. For hall side, things are of course very different, because last time all our events were physical. We never ever used like Zoom or like live streaming until COVID came. So I think for us, we really had to adapt. We had to adapt to whatever that came to us, especially with the SMMs going around. And how my hall adapted was, actually we have this new initiative called XIV Best Buddies. So it's where we pair a senior and a freshman together, and then they have to clear missions. So it's of course very safe because it's only 2 of them. Yeah, and also you get to really still enjoy the hall culture while in times of COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Yunshuan. I think we really need to adapt to this new normal, especially when things are really different when it comes to now compared to now and pre-COVID. Yeah, but for NIE, most of our lessons and tutorials are mostly physical because our class sizes are generally small. Yeah, but we do have to follow SMM still, like for example, 5 person per table or wearing masks all the time, things like that. Yeah, for CCA is also the same, like what you mentioned, COVID unfortunately has affected the interaction between the members in the clubs. So especially for NTU CCAs, we are really pushing for more physical events or collaboration with other clubs to maintain the camaraderie between the members.
Yeah, so to add on to like what Fikri and Yunshan has said, I think a lot of like many of our student leaders like ourselves are actually planning and like pushing for physical events so that people can actually like get to like meet face to face and really just interact with each other. So for our case, we have this thing called inter-school games where we play, like different faculties come together to play different sports like futsal, basketball, and like captain's ball with safe management measures in place. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so other than that, internally as a faculty club, we also do like physical events where people of like, let's say different orientation groups can meet together and really just interact with one another. So like coming back to the mode of lessons, my lectures are actually conducted over Zoom or like MS Teams, and other than that, tutorials and labs are actually conducted physically. So when I go to school, it's really like, most of the time I go to school to study with my friends and not really for like tutorials in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, so Miss Yeo mentioned the mode of lesson, right? So I think I started uni with, at the peak of COVID, right immediately after circuit breaker. So my whole uni was throughout COVID lah. So orientations were virtual, classes were also in a kind of like hybrid format, and then once in a while when it's heightened alert, then we'll revert back to like full virtual. So the experience for me has been quite okay. I don't see much difference in a sense. Orientation wise, we get to interact with our seniors still, and then we still get to make friends and then build friendships around the entire faculty or whatever our orientation group it is. And then for modes of lessons wise, I think it's hybrid, so there are some lessons whereby it's fully online, some modules they are fully physical as well. So but the assessment criteria from what I understand from my seniors was that some of the finals were converted to assignments or projects, and I think that has really helped to relieve some of the stress from maybe online lessons you're not able to absorb so much, right? So then you don't have to cram so much for finals now, instead you're just there to actually practice what you learn in assignments and projects. Yeah, so I think those are really, really very helpful. Yeah.
So just like Minso and Jordan said, majority of my classes are actually online except for the tutorials and labs. So this makes it quite hard for me to like interact with professors and people in my course and like ask them questions or like try and make groups for projects. But like as I said before, and like everyone has said, everyone's always willing to help, especially the professors if you have any questions. Other than that, I think I'm speaking on behalf of many international students when I say this. It's made it quite hard for us to go and explore Singapore because of the number of restrictions, like 5-person rule, 2-person rule, no dine-in. So yeah, that was quite difficult. Other than that, as an international student, it's been quite hard for us to like go back home because filling in documents and like getting the entry approval from like government has been quite difficult. So since I came to university, I was only able to go back after 1.5 years of staying here. So majority of us got the opportunity to go back in December. So yeah, that's just one downside of COVID-19.
Yeah, to be honest, there are many challenges that we have faced and are still facing. But thankfully, we have our amazing staff and students who are always willing to help us, and they are always planning curriculum and activities behind the scene to keep our uni life enriching. All right, thank you all for the great answers. And with our last question, we have actually come to an end of our open house session, or breakout session. If your questions have not been answered yet, don't worry, as we will get back to you through our NTU SU Facebook page or through the live chat function. To our panelists, thank you so much for taking your time to come down and share with us about your experience. We really appreciate it. Yes, and to our audience, thank you so much for your kind attention and your great questions. Please also stay tuned to our virtual tours, which are happening later on. So we'll be showing you around the north spine at 2:15, 2:15 p.m. and the south spine at 2:50 p.m. and the halls at the 3:25 p.m. Right, so thank you again. I hope you have a great time exploring NTU Open House today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.